Now, just moments ago, this is fascinating stuff. This is just moments ago, Man United forward Marcus Rashford spoke to the Players Tribune. He explained how he feels the media treat him differently to most other players and that people are always waiting for him to make a mistake. He also spoke in depth about how disgruntled he is by people constantly questioning his commitment towards Man United, a club he's grown up with and supporting, sacrificed so much for, and continues to give everything he possibly can do. Now, I've got all these quotes in front of me here. I'm going to read a few out and then I'm going to get your view on them. Okay? So one of them is slamming the media for the way he's treated differently. He says, I'm not trying to have a go at the media. I understand the game. You know what I mean. They're not really writing about me. It's like they're writing about this character, Marcus Rashford. He said there's a tone to it that you don't get with all footballers. Let's just leave it at that. What do you make of that?
Listen, I don't think people are just attacking him for the sake of it. I think what he's alluding to, and he talks about body language, but there's been clips all over the place of his body language. Certainly when he's played down the middle, it's completely different. Like the Rashford from last season hasn't been there this season, so obviously people are going to question it. Like,
is he treated differently by the media
no,
to another player?
No, do you know what it is? It's the standards that he set. So the moment you drop below them standards, people are going to come after you.
Okay, so on the back of that, he's saying it's not just about his footballing ability. He says it can't just be about me as a 26-year-old lad on a night out or a lad getting a parking ticket. It's got to be about how much my car costs, guessing my weekly salary, my jewellery, or even my tattoos.
See, the cars...
Here you go. Sorry. It's got to be about my body language. You just said this. Questioning my morals and speculating about my family and my football future.
Listen, as far as the cars and the jewellery and that go, each to their own. Fair play, he's earned the money, do what he wants with it. I've got no issues with, even if he wants to drive a spaceship to training.
I know, but people do report on him differently. If he gets a parking, if he parks his 500 grand car outside Boots or whatever, gets a parking ticket, that's front page.
That's not really front pages. I'm not seeing any front page.
Okay, it's in there though, right?
Okay, I get that.
He does get a lot more media attention than the majority of footballers.
Because I think people are when you play for one of the biggest clubs on the planet, you're going to get that. But certainly when you set the standards that you set last season, when you hit 30 goals last season, he's got 5 this season. People are going to come after him.
I know, but Haaland scores copious goals. We don't see him
because they're different characters. That's not Haaland. But you're trying to obviously make the excuse for his performances on the pitch. He hasn't been up to the same level as last year.
I know, but I do honestly believe he does get treated differently to the majority of footballers.
No chance. No, he doesn't.
Oh, he does, Ben.
He doesn't. Look at Grealish. Grealish used to get it, but Grealish is obviously.
You just said used to get it. Now he's getting it, so he does.
But he's calmed himself down. But
but you're saying used to, so he does.
People are trying to find a reason as to why Rashford's form is completely gone from last year.
Okay, so on the back of that, on his commitment being questioned at Man United, he says, if you ever question my commitment to Manchester United, that's when I have to speak up. It's like somebody questioning my entire identity and everything I stand for as a man. I grew up here. I've played for this club since I was a boy. My family turned down life-changing money when I was a kid so I could wear this badge.
Okay, you tell me, you're a Man United fan. Has he put in the same level of commitment and effort this season as he did last year, from what you've seen on the pitch?
Has he put in the same... No, I don't think he has.
But there you go. So,
but I'm not questioning his commitment.
Okay, you don't have to, but the level of performance and the effort...
His level of performance has dropped.
And the effort. I mean, there's that many clips going around of people like Barkley doing a pivot and him just walking, and I've said it before, because I worked at the weekend, his body language when he plays down the middle to when he plays on the left is frightening. It's like night and day. I get it, he doesn't want to play there, but you don't have to tell the whole world you don't want to play there.
On people not understanding what life is like in the football bubble, he speaks about how he's tried his best to stay a normal person despite the bubble of the footballing world. He goes on to add that he's made mistakes that every single lad in their 20s has made.
Yeah, of course.
But he's in the spotlight, so it's so very different.
Do you know what? I get it. He's a footballer. Again, like he's Manchester United through and through. We get all that. Like, he's one of the most high-profile players, playing for the biggest club in the world. You get different media attention, don't you? If he played for, again, no disrespect, Bournemouth, there's no story there. You play for Manchester United, everything's a story.
I'd like to take calls on this, 03717223334. Do you think he gets treated differently in the media?
This Marcus Rashford statement is an absolute embarrassment, in my opinion. He needs to shut up and just get on with his football. But that statement, to me, epitomises the state of that Man United squad at the minute.
Are you a Man United fan, John?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Always blaming other people. You got the manager saying it's a good performance when it's an absolute disgraceful performance. Never taking any accountability. His body language stinks. You don't hear about other players because they're just getting on with their careers, getting on with their performances. Marcus Rashford's talking about like he's the only person that's ever sacrificed to play for his hometown team. There's players like him in every team up and down the country.
But I don't read about other players getting tattoos or how much their car costs. I
Who
only
cares?
read that with Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, but who cares? I'll question.
Well, he
his
cares.
character.
You can't
I'll
say.
question
Hold
his
on,
character
John.
because-
Hold on, John. When you're talking about someone's coming out with a statement, you can't come out with who cares because that doesn't mean anything. He obviously cares enough to have to sit down and write this statement.
Okay, well, let's question this then. So he has a blinder of a season last season when he needs a contract. The contract gets given to him, a bumper contract, and this season he's off the boil again. So I'll question his character.
See, I think John's saying there that football fans, certainly Manchester United fans, are going to have the same opinion. Like, he gets that contract, and listen, again, you've heard me say, if they want to give him 800 grand a week, give it to him. Like, if he's earned it. Like, I've got no problem with what he earns. When your performances are what they were last season, where you're saying, "Oh my goodness, what a player," and then how they are this year.
But that statement from John, right?
Yeah.
About he wanted a new contract. And you've played at the highest level. Are you honestly telling me someone can decide to up their game to get a new deal? Once they've got, they go, I can't bother anymore.
It's not so much that, but it's just like psychologically in there. Sometimes I've seen players there that have got all the attributes. 6 months left of their season of their contract or a year. Oh my goodness. You're like, what is going on? Get the contract. And they don't mean to down tools, but that little bit of extra motivation's gone because you've got the contract.
Naz, interesting. So Naz is up next, also a United fan. Hi, Naz.
Good evening, guys. Darren, Andy, how you doing?
We're good,
man, you?
Very well. How are you?
Very well. Oh, God. What is he doing, man? Leave that in the dressing room or leave it with your sports psychologist. Why are you coming out with these statements? He's just adding fuel to it. I mean, did you hear Eric's performance review of Rashford? I mean, he was struggling to back him up, even though he gave him really good feedback. But did he really have a good game? He didn't. I mean, United were poor in general. But he's struggling to give him kudos. And you can hear it in his voice.
Oh, you there, Naz?
Myself, and sorry?
Yeah, sorry, we lost you for a bit. Go on, carry on, Naz.
Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, I'm just saying, Eric giving him kudos, it's like he obviously needs to fight because he's got no one in his squad left. They're all injured. My opinion about him, unfortunately, I think he needs to go. What he's getting paid, he's not showing his worth. In terms of his football IQ, he's not even nowhere near your Rooney, your Solskjaer, your Sheringham, your Andy Cole, your Dwight York. The list can go on. And he's not justifying his position. He needs to keep this in the back room. If he wants to then do it with the psychologist or so on, don't do it in the media. And it's a perfect example of a player who's not built for the club, unfortunately. And if PSG are going to go for him, then I think he needs to go.
Okay. Just quick. Thank you for that, Naz. Just quickly, I'm just reading some of his comments while I'm listening to our listeners. He says, Marcus Rashford says, I can take any criticism. I can take any headlines from podcasts, social media, and the papers. I can take it. But if you start questioning my commitment to this club and my love of football and bringing my family into it, then I simply ask you to have a bit more humanity. I think that's fair, isn't it?
Well, but listen, commitment to this club. No one's questioning his commitment to the club. But and if they're bringing his family into it, then that certainly is not on. But again, I asked you the question earlier about his body language and commitment, running around, working hard. Like it hasn't been there this year for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it hasn't.
Dom's up next, an Arsenal fan. Hi, Dom.
Hey, how you doing, boys? You all right?
Yeah, we're good, Dom. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, boys. Do you know what? It's weird this because I'm a donor and really I don't know why I've rung up because it's something that's come up a few times with certain footballers and that. And do you know what? I want to firstly say, them Man United fans, fair play to them because they could have easily come on and we all do it sometimes. You back your club and you sort of blinded to things and you try and use excuses. But every Man United fan that's come on has said it how it is. You're using a few excuses, Andy, which I think's wrong, but we can get to that in a minute. But Benty as well, commence you, mate, because you could easily, as another black footballer, you could have easily just gone down the route and probably stuck up for him and used excuses. And that's why a lot of people, Benty, love you because you're honest, mate. You wear your heart on your sleeve. You say it as you see it. You're not looking at it at different different angles. You're seeing it as solely as a footballer, and you've played and you know. And I've seen some of your games, Bentley, where if things weren't going right for you, you'd sprint back, you'd get the ball. Now, Bentley, we've seen some great players over Arsenal, right? Top players. Now, Thierry Henry, I'll use the perfect example for this, right? Thierry Henry. The other day, the FA Cup game that Man United just played against Forest, Rashford, I don't know if you remember the bit where he run through the middle, 2 defenders clattered into him, he fell over, and he just laid there, and Thierry Henry, within 2 minutes, I remember top players, within 2 minutes, he'd run back, he'd get that ball, and he'd shape up and go, right, come on in, let's have it. And he'd take them on and do it. Rashford, the excuses Rashford is using there is poor. No one has knocked his family. No one has said anything about his commitment. And if he's saying he's got commitment for Man United, then Bentley's hit the nail on the head. Because when you play out left, you're all happy and you show your commitment. So just because you're playing down the middle, if you love your club so much and you're committed, then when you're playing down the middle, you still have to put that same energy in, that same fight. When you lose when the ball breaks down, you've got to chase it back. He ain't doing it. That's terrible excuses from Rashford. He's made himself worse there. Fair play to you, Bentley, and fair play to United fans for obviously saying it as they see it.
Okay, Dom, thanks for your call.
Again, the body language part and the playing left to centre forward. I've never understood that. I get it. He doesn't want to play centre forward. We all know that. Like he was unbelievable going from the left. But there's come times where you don't need to show the whole world that you don't want to play there. And sometimes he does that, like with the effort. Just run around. Like, do you know what I mean? Something might break for you, do you know what I mean? But it's what Manchester United do moving forward. It'd be interesting to see what Erik ten Hag does about this. Did he know that he was going to give this interview?
It's a very good point.
Do you know what I mean? Because we've seen other players before go outside the lines and do interviews.
When you get a player that plays out of position, right, and you question his body language, does that tell you that he hasn't got a great relationship with the manager? I.e., if he did, right, would he give it 100%? And because he doesn't have a good relationship, you could question whether or not his heart is in it.
Potentially, but he would have said to him, listen, play down the middle. And Rashford would have said, I don't really like playing out there. And you think Erik ten Hag would have gone, I know you don't, but just for me, we haven't got a striker. Just do it for the team. But I'm trying to think who you got played. Who did you play on at the weekend? Fulham, right? Me personally would have kept it Garnacho on one side, Rashford on the other, and put maybe the young kid fourth. I'd have put him down the middle because keep the consistency with the 2 wide men. But you don't have to always, when you play down the middle, show the world you don't want to play there.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.